He who has no expectation is pure, skillful in action, unconcerned and untroubled, who has given up all initiative in action. He, my devotee, is dear to me. In these 7 verses where Sri Krishna describes the ideal devotee, in 5 of these verses, Sri Krishna has said, Me Priya, he is dear to me, Me Priya, he is dear to me, Me Priya, he is dear to me. The Supreme Soul is talking about something very intimate and is an effort to understand the heart of the Supreme Soul. The qualities that the Supreme Soul describes in Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion, are ways to understand the heart of God. And if we do this Bhakti devotion, then we attain the Supreme Soul. 15 qualities had been described before this verse. The 16th quality is described in the 16th verse. Shri Krishna says that a devotee should have no expectation and no longings. This is one without any expectations. He has no expectations in life. This person is without expectation on the day of Dhanteras, which is the first day of the 5-day Diwali period, where the goddess Lakshmi is worshipped in order to provide prosperity and well-being. This is because on the day of Dhanteras, people have a lot of expectations that the grace of the mother goddess Lakshmi will shower on them. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya Ji has written in his commentary that one who has no wishes, no cravings for the body, senses or objects, Dehendriya Vishaya Sambandha Dishu Apekshana Yasya Nasti Sa Anapeksha Nispruha. Such a devotee has no desires. He has wishes and expectations, but what are these wishes and expectations? They are wishes and expectations about the level of the body, senses, objects. If we classify the majority of the wishes or expectations, then we have expectations either for the body, for the senses, or for objective happiness of objects. A devotee has no expectations. Ramanujacharya Ji has said the same thing in slightly different words, that Atma Vyati Rikshe Kshane Vasune Anapekshaha. It says that one should have no expectations for anything except the soul. The devotee's perspective is one, and that is that if this object comes, then it will it contribute to my spiritual development. This is the only expectation that she has in each and everything. She has no longing for them. She has no longing for anything except the soul. This is what a devotee is like. A devotee has no expectations. The expectations that the devotee has are very divine. When we go to God, then we go with such small expectations. I often say that we do not even know how to ask. When you go to sleep at night and God comes and taps on your shoulder saying, get up, I become pleased for you, ask what you want, then what would we ask from the Lord? First of all, we'll not even believe it and we'll say that God let us sleep. I've only just managed to sleep and you are waking me up. We cannot even believe that the Supreme Soul can come and stand in front of us. And if we believe it, then what would we ask for? Our list is very limited. Either we will ask for God for happiness for our families. If we have a small place, then we'll ask for a bigger place. Profits for our business, to improve our health. If we are unwell, to make our son behave better, or a groom for our daughter, etc. We ask for things like this, and if we draw a list and sit in peace, then realize that we have not been able to get more than 25 items on that list. And if it's 25, then it would be a maximum. This is because that the more things you ask for them, then all come under the bracket of happiness. Our list cannot go higher than 25. Whereas when the rishis and devotees go to God, then what do they ask for? In the Rudra Asta Adhyay, there's a whole process saying Jamai, 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 Jamai. It says Ashma Jamai, Mutika Jamai, Lohan Jamai, Shishan Jamai, Tapush Jamai, Eka Jamai, Tishran Jamai, Pancha Jamai, Sapta Jamai, Navayat Jamai, Nava Jamai, Ekadash Jamai. The rishis have asked for so many things from God. They have asked for so much. But after asking for all of this, what do the rishis say at the end of the mantra? They say, Yagna na kalpana tama. I need it for yagna. I need it for sharing. The rishis say, Lord, what I'm asking for you is not because I wish to gather all of this, but Lord, give it to me so that I can distribute it to society. We want all of this with the attitude of yagna, with the attitude of holy sacrifice. Therefore, the goal of the rishis is very divine. Yasman rute kinchana karma kriyate tanme manha shiva sankala paramastu. That without which no actions can be performed, such a mind should be for intentions that will result in my well-being. They've asked for this. The rishis asked for this. They did not ask for anything to do with the body, anything to do with the senses, nor for any objects. What is the whole Gayatri mantra that we chant? Om Bhur Bhuvaswaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasati Mahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodhyat. We meditate on that Ishvara, a Pratyaksha Narayan symbol, i.e. the sun's glory, who has created the universe, who is fit to be worshipped, who is the embodiment of knowledge and light. He is the remover of all sins and ignorance. May He illuminate, enlighten our entire universe's intellects. In the Gayatri Mantra, we ask God to inspire our intellects. We have not asked God to fill our houses with food, for cars for our children, or anything else like that. We have asked the Lord to give inspiration to our intellects. We tell the Lord that if our intellects get nice inspiration, then our intellects will travel on the right path and everything will come in life. We ask God to inspire our intellects. The scriptures say that Dhiyo Vishva Virajati. It is the human intellect that rules the world. We give a lot of importance to the intellect. We therefore ask the Lord to inspire our intellects. What I mean to say is that the devotee has expectations, and it is not as if the devotee has no expectations, but the devotee has divine expectations. In the Chandipat it says, Rupam Jahi, Jajam Jahi, Yasho Jahi, Dvisho Jahi. Give me beauty, give me victory, give me fame, destroy my enemies, but mother, I want all of this for you. Therefore the devotee has expectations, but all of these expectations are for his spiritual development, whereas the majority of expectations are those where our spiritual development is put to the side. Having no expectations does not mean someone who has sat down crossing their hands and feet. One has expectations. This is because expectations can take the person to the destruction, and expectations can also develop a person to a higher state. It all depends on what the expectation is. What do you expect? Shri Krishna says that a devotee should have no expectations. Shri Krishna says that a devotee should be pure. This is a very important thing. A devotee is pure. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya says that this means Bhayena Abhyatena Rechana Sochana Sampaha. Cleanliness, and not only cleanliness, but holiness both on the outside and on the inside. Therefore, purity consists of these two things. Ramanujacharya says that such a devotee's body is made from food that the scriptures have instructed. Shastra, Veda, Dravya, Pradya, Kayaka. And by body he does not mean this thing that is made up of the 5 elements. Whatever there is in such a devotee's life, it is all within the limits of the scriptures. There is nothing impure in such a devotee's life, and that is why the devotee is pure. Great saints say that there are different types of this purity. First of all, there is purity of the body. This is purity of the body from the outside. Even the purity of the body comes in 2 ways. Firstly is that what we call hygiene. One keeps the body clean, and this is necessary. A devotee is never unclean. Many times it so used to happen before, Guruji doesn't go there now, that before, whenever a saint or great personality came, and Guruji found out that he had a wish to go and meet them, so he could speak with them a little. One time a person called him saying that there's a great personality is there and that he should go and meet him. Guruji asked what's so special about this person and that he could be called a great personality. The person said that this great personality only baths at the time of Kumbh Mela, which is a pilgrimage where devotees gather at the river Ganga every 12 years, and apart from this he does not bath. Guruji thought that Kumbh Mela only comes once every 12 years. Guruji said a person who does not bath for 12 years in India's climate is called a great personality. I will not even go near this unclean person. In one day, we have given at least 2 times a day in the morning and evening, and if not, then we bath 1 time a day if there is a shortage of water. But this person hadn't bathed in 12 years and he was called a great personality. No, this will not work. Hygiene is the first thing that is needed. And ahead of this, what is next is the purity of the body. And when the 2 things of egotism and minus go from the body, then the body becomes pure. Why does our body become impure? One reason is ego, and a second is self-sense. Neither of these 2 things, because of which the body becomes impure, me and mine. When these 2 things come, then the body becomes impure. When these 2 things go away, then the body becomes pure. Secondly, just like the body should be pure, in the same way food should be pure. It is only from pure food that the body becomes pure. That is what Ramanujarji says. He says that such a devotee's body is made from food that the scriptures have instructed. A devotee's food is very pure. It is a very big science which food we should take. Not only what food we should take, but whose food should we take, and food made by which person we should take. All of this is a science. Shastra Vita Dvavya Vardina Gaiha. If food is coming from the same grocer, but that food is made in two different houses, and you eat that food, then it cannot go without making a difference to your thoughts. I have experimented with this myself, and I'm asking you to do this experiment. Many times I say that you should not consider it just to be true just because I'm saying it, but you should put it into practice and you should experiment. And after this, if you feel that what he's saying is true, then bow down to the Gita Ji. Otherwise, if I say something, then if you just immediately believe it thinking, wow, then you create a lot of difficulties both for yourself and for me. You should put into practice for 6 months through an experiment that you will not even drink water from anywhere else apart from home. What will happen from this is that your whole system will be cleansed. Until now, what you have been eating and drinking will be clean from the system, and then you will become so sensitive that you will think that this person has such a nature, this person gets very angry, or this person is greedy. Do an experiment after 6 months and eat at one of these people's houses. After that, if you do not see the transformation that comes into your thoughts in one day, then go and eat at the house for every day 1 week, and you will see a change in your thinking. On the other side, if you think that this person is very pure, this person is very peaceful, or this person is very generous, then go and eat at their house for 5, 6 or 7 days, and then see the difference that comes into your thoughts. You will feel the change. Eating pure food is a very necessary thing. Sow the food, sow the body. Sow the body, sow the thought. Sow the thought, sow the conduct. And sow the conduct, sow the life. Commentators have given a lot of importance to purity of food. Third is purity of wealth. The type of wealth that comes into our lives and our homes is very necessary. In this world, if there is a picture that people like very much, then it's or a vision that people like very much, then it's a £5 note. It seems so attractive no matter how torn it is, if it's covered with stains, etc. And despite it having all of this, nobody throws it away. Each and every person likes it. But when this note comes to us, then do we ever think about how much history this note has brought with it? Each and every wealth has its own history. Sometimes it comes out of someone's happiness, sometimes it comes out of someone's woes, and sometimes it comes having taken someone's groans. And the type of wealth that comes to a person's house always has that effect on that person's life. And that is why we have types of Lakshmi wealth. We have the goddess Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati and Mahakali. One can be called only money, the second can be called wealth, and the third is Mahalakshmi. Money is different, wealth is different, and Mahalakshmi is different. They are categories. Anyone can earn money. Even prostitutes earn money, and even their money can be wealth. There was one in Buddha's life. I do not want to go into the example right now. She had an endless amount of wealth, and she told him that this was her occupation. She accepted this, and she remained loyal to her job, and in the rest of her time, her mind remains fixed on the Supreme Soul. Buddha accepted her as his disciple. What I mean to say is that anyone can earn money. Anyone can earn money in the right way, the wrong way, or by alternative means. One should have purity of wealth. When can one have purity of wealth? Shri Krishna has already said in the 12th verse of the 3rd chapter of the Gita that Ishtan Bhogam Hivo Deva Dashyante Yagna Bhavita Ter Data Napravadyapayo Yobum Te Stena Evasa. Fostered by Yagna, the gods will give you the enjoyments you desire. He who enjoys these gifts without giving them in return is verily a thief. The wealth that I'm getting is coming because of the grace of the Supreme Soul, and while I do not use a share of that wealth for the cause of the Supreme Soul, then the whole of that wealth has been stolen. Stena, the word stena is used, meaning a thief. Therefore, if a share of the wealth that has come to us has been used for the cause of God, then it becomes wealth. The scriptures say that Dananta Shudyante Danam. Wealth becomes purified from donations. Wealth always gets purified through donations. The more that one's donations increase, then the more that their wealth becomes purified. This does not mean that one's wealth becomes purified if one has gathered wealth through impure means and then gives donations. No, the means of attaining wealth must be good, and through that donations should be given for the cause of God in order to purify one's wealth. You see every type of this purity in a devotee's life. There is also a purity of thought. There is a purity of karma, actions. Even karma actions can be pure. Even thoughts are pure. I said earlier that a body gets purified if there is no ego and no self-sense in the body. And secondly, there should be no attraction, repulsion, delight, interest, or faults of lust, anger, or greed in one's antakaran, inner being. And if this is the case, then one's antakaran, inner being, is pure. One becomes pure in both these ways. One is pure on the inside and also on the outside. Such a devotee who is pure on both the inside and the outside makes other beings, human beings, pure through his sight, touch, conversation, storytelling, and in his absence, his thoughts. When he is in front of you and you're seeing him, feeling his touch and these other things, they make you pure. Guruji remembers that when he was young, maybe when he was studying at school or in his first year at college, when his age was 16, 17 or 18, he met Sri J. Krishnamurti. Who's heard of J. Krishnamurti? J. Krishnamurti. Those who have heard about him will know well that he used to give discourses at the J.J. School of Art in Mumbai. His discourses were for 1 or 2 hours in the evening. Guruji must have read an advertisement about this in the Times of India and reached there. He had an interest in this field from the beginning. Guruji had read 1 or 2 books, but he says with a lot of authenticity that he did not understand much. But he got a lot of bliss from when he could understand, and when he heard that J. Krishnamurti is coming there for discourse, then he reached there. Guruji went there for 2 or 3 years. Krishnamurti used to speak in English, and Guruji had studied in Gujarati. Therefore, he did not know much English at that time. And J. Krishnamurti's English was very good English. Guruji must have been in the 8th or 9th standard, but he liked it. He sat there. A lot of the learned and educated people went there. The whole class of J. Krishnamurti's listeners were different. Guruji still remembers this event as I describe it. He could still see the J.J. School of Art compound before his eyes. There was a nice courtyard and J. Krishnamurti was standing there. Then he was growing old and Guruji remembers his last year. He could no longer walk much. When the discourse would finish, then the white ambassador car would come right there next to the stage. And 2 people would bring J. Krishnamurti down from the stage and he would sit in the car. He had a habit that when he would open the window in the car, he would keep his hand outside. He would not fold his hands or do anything like that. He would keep his hand outside. If there was someone he knew, then he would smile at them or do something like that, and he kept his hand outside. Guruji saw that all the people would go and to touch J. Krishnamurti's hand. A lot of people would take his hand in their hands. Guruji found this very strange because he used to go to the discourses of a lot of saints and great souls and did all of this, but they would touch their feet or fold their hands towards them or bow down to them completely. Guruji saw all of this, but found it very strange to touch the hand of a great personality with your hand. And especially because he came from a traditional Brahmin family, he found it strange that they were doing this. But Guruji had a curiosity that why do all these people go there? One day, just out of curiosity, Guruji reached there. There was a very big crowd and Guruji was a small and short person. He reached there, went by the car, and 2 or 3 people must have made an attempt to pull him out of the car, but Guruji went there and touched the hand of J. Krishnamurti. Guruji will never forget the softness that he felt. You feel like you're taking a sponge in your hands. When you take a wet sponge, then how does it feel? His hands were so soft. And the vibrations that came, Guruji still remembers to this day. That day, Guruji understood why all of these people would run there. He was definitely a realized soul. The touch of such a devotee and such a wise person is very pure. Seeing them is another thing altogether. Shri Krishna says in the Gita that whosoever has attained something in their life, to see them, you will know that they have attained something. Their appearance, their touch, their conversations and their stories are so pure. And when they are not there, then the thoughts and the remembrance of them can make a human being pure. They themselves are pure and they make others pure. Guruji feels that the relationship between the guru and the pupil is very pure from this perspective. Once that relationship becomes established, then if you have a huge amount of adoration and feelings towards someone, then the person's absence can make one pure. In the Srimad Bhagavat, when Akrurji goes to bring Shri Krishna, then all he can think about in his mind that, will the Lord place his hand on my head? What will it be like? And the experience that he described shows that whoever we have a feelings towards, if they're such a realized great soul, then this touch can purify us. Having a conversation with them and thinking about them can make us pure. An ordinary person goes to a holy place of pilgrimage and becomes pure, whereas such devotees and such great saints go to a place and that place becomes a holy place of pilgrimage. Wherever their feet stop, that place is Kashi, which is the modern day holy city of Varanasi. In the 13th chapter of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavat, it says that Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Stavantastena Tada Vruta Pavitranam Pavitram. Devotees like you are like holy places of pilgrimage personified, because you carry the Supreme Soul, who is the purest of the purest, in your heart and turn all places into places of pilgrimage. Why do places become holy places of pilgrimage? Perhaps a great soul, a saint, a devotee or a wise person is greatly holy, and the reason for this is that the Supreme Soul, who is the purest of the purest, resides in their hearts. In the 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavat, there is a very beautiful story how the Gangaji came forth. The king Bhagirath made valiant efforts and made the request to the river Ganga to come from the heavenly abode to the earth. Two questions arose. Gangaji manifested from the feet of Lord Vishnu. The first question was that Gangaji would come from the heavenly abode and the force would be so much that she may flood the whole world. How would this last on earth? Therefore, the first question that came was that when Gangaji comes forth from the heavenly abode to earth, then who would hold Gangaji's descent? Shivji held her on his head. One problem was solved. The second question was asked by Gangaji, that when I come, then so many people will bathe in me in order to purify themselves. But when they become purified, then this means that if the people are washing their sins, then in me, then the sins will come into me. If we go and wash our sins in River Ganga, then these sins stay in the River Ganga. Ganga said that how then can I remain pure? Where will I go by collecting all these sins? How will I then be pure? Look how much of a principled thing this is. These sins do not get destroyed. There is no magic that the sins fly away. Therefore, Garuji said that when these sins come, Gangaji said that when these sins come, then how can they go far away? Bhagirath has said a very nice verse to Mother Ganga. Sadhavo niyasina shanta brahma sita loka pavana haryanta gam tena sangat teshti rudya pitharai. Mother, saints who have given up the desires of this world and the world beyond, such saints who are completely peaceful, established in the wisdom of Brahman, and who make people pure, Mother, when these saints will bathe in you and touch you, then the sins that you have taken from others will go away through the touch of these saints, because the Supreme Soul Hari always resides in the hearts of such saints. Therefore Ganga makes the world pure, and one who makes Ganga pure is a true devotee. This is such a high level. The saints of Maharashtra say that a body becomes pure when Brahmi Bhuta Kaya Hotasi Kirtani. By chanting the name of the Lord, a person becomes purified with Brahman. Narsi Mehta says, Ram Nam Shutari Lelage Sakala Tirthaha Ena Tanmere. When one chants the name of Ram, then every place they go to becomes a holy place of pilgrimage. This is that holiness that we are given. The devotee has this feeling of holiness inside her. Shri Krishna says that a devotee should be daksha, meaning well-behaved, understanding, clever, smart and intelligent. But while I use the words clever, smart and intelligent, I do it with alertness, because all these words have a negative shade. When someone is clever, then people say he is very clever. If someone is intelligent, then people say he's very intelligent. And if someone is smart, then people say, do not learn to be smart. It is not all of this. By being clever, intelligent and smart, a person does not automatically become well-behaved and understanding. Daksha means understanding. And commentators give a very good commentary of this. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya has given a very good definition of daksha, meaning one who has done the work for which he has come, and one who has fulfilled the purpose of life. You can only call such a person a truly good person. If a person is good in every other way, but has not fulfilled the purpose of life, then you cannot call him a truly good person. If someone gives others diamonds before they sparkle, then what can you do with them? Srimad Adi Shankaracharya says that daksha means one who has done the work for which he has come, and one who has fulfilled the purpose of life. A human being should think in life that what is the purpose for which I have come into the world? And have I achieved that purpose? If the person has achieved that purpose, then Shri Krishna says that he is daksha. Are we all daksha? In matters of the material world, we may be daksha, but think that how have we fulfilled the purpose for which we have come into the sansar, the material world? Has this work been successfully completed? First of all, do we know the purpose for which we have come here? If I say in the language of the villages of the region of Saurashtra and Gujarat, then apre ka hai buddha ase. What is the purpose of the work for which we have come? We have not even found out that purpose for which we have come here. When one finds this out, only then can one speak about going forward and succeeding on this purpose. Have I fulfilled the purpose for which I have come into this world? Srimad Adi Shankaracharya says, Daksha means adept. Pratyut paneshu keyeshu sadya yatavat pratipatum samarthaha. Therefore, Daksha does not just mean clever, and its synonyms. Daksha means adept. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya also says that when one attains something, then if they become strong in understanding that thing and doing that thing, then they are daksha. There are so many things in life that we have to know, and it is a must. And there are so many activities in this life that we should do, and it's a must. You cannot escape. When such things that one should know about and such activities that one should do become present, then one learns that yes, I should know about this, so let me get to know it, and I should do this. So many different works come into us, but how many of these works should we really do? People have so many reasons for repenting in life and think that if I have not done this, then it would have been very good. If I had not done this, then it would be very good. Then why does the person do them? This means that one learns about the activities that he should do and does not sit there after learning about them. He performs these activities. Otherwise, they get into the state of Duryodhana, that Janam mi dharmam nachame pravrutti, janami adharmam nacham nivrutti, kena viprena dishitena. I know what dharma is, I know what righteousness is, and I know that which I ought to do, but I do not know this. I know what adharma is, I know what unrighteousness is, but I do not stop myself from doing this. If one knows that something is wrong, then why do they do it? Therefore, first of all, one learns what one should know and what activities one should do, and one goes and performs those activities. He learns about them and he performs them. This is daksha. Ramanujacharya says that daksha means one who is an expert at performing actions according to the scriptures. Shastriya kriyo padana samarthaha. Today, we need a lot of daksha in life, and particularly in devotees, this quality is there. This is because the mathematics of the world is not as clear as 2 plus 2 equals 4. The mathematics of everyday life can be as clear as 2 plus 2 equals 4. But if we look at the material world, then 2 plus 2 does not equal 4 all the time. And on many occasions, we see 2 plus 2 as being 3. And also on many occasions, we see 2 plus 2 as being 5. If I go further and make it clear, then always in matters of other people, we see 2 plus 2 as being 5. And always in matters of ourselves, we see 2 plus 2 as being 3. An ordinary person thinks that, why is it like this? I'm making so many efforts and doing all of this, but still nothing is happening. And if you see the other person, that everything seems to be happening quickly for them. Many times one does not understand the mathematics by which the world works. In order to understand this, one needs the quality of daksha. It is very easy to point our fingers at the arrangements of gods as made steady in the world. We say that I do not understand why this is happening to that person, why these soft objects are thinking and stones are soft objects are thinking and stones are floating. It is very easy to say this. Garibo na kubami toleyu che tel ni tipu ne amirono gabar par gi na diva taiche. In the houses of poor people, only a drop of oil gets washed, and in rich people's houses there are lamps of clarified butter, ghee. It feels very good to say this is poetry, but ask why all of this happens. Why are all these inequalities that we see there? It is very easy to ask this question, but one should see the equality residing within all of this. Not only should they be able to see this, but they should be able to experience this. And despite seeing these absurdities, this should not make any difference in one's shraddha, faith towards God, and in one's relationship towards the Supreme Soul. When he's sitting with the Supreme Soul thinking about the Lord in his heart, then his eyebrows are never raised thinking, why did this happen? A devotee always has the attitude that whatever has happened for the right reason, and in order to understand this, one needs the quality of daksha. A lot of questions like this arise in the world, and a lot of people ask, if your God is here, then why does all of this happen? If God was here, then why does this happen? It is because God is there that it is happening. This is the quality of daksha. There are many different types of daksha. First of all, the daksha of the devotee is that the devotee has fulfilled the purpose for which he has come into the world. Second, one understands the mathematics of the world. The third type of daksha is that one performs actions and yet does not get bondage. There is such a very big cleverness in the devotee, and this is daksha. He is constantly active and yet he does not have any bondages anywhere. This is the quality of daksha. The reason for this is that he is non-attached, and that is why he is not the doer. Fourth, he enjoys worldly pleasures and yet he has the feeling of not being the enjoyer. This is the quality of daksha. There is a very famous incident in the Srimad Bhagavad. The gopis were returning from Vraj in Mathura, and when they reached the Yamunaji, Durvasa Muni was sitting there on the other side. Durvasa Muni was hungry and the gopis wanted to give him some food. Next to this, the Yamuna had so much water that it was impossible to go and get some food. The gopis went to Sri Krishna and told him that there's so much water in the Yamuna river that there's no way to get across the water. They said that Durvasa Muni was hungry and that they wanted to give him some food. They asked Sri Krishna to show them a way. Sri Krishna says, go to the Yamuna and tell her that if Sri Krishna is a brahmachari, a celibate, then show us the way. The gopis said this, and the Yamuna gave them away. The gopis found this strange and thought that how can Sri Krishna, who played the Ras Leela, be a brahmachari, a celibate? Yet the Yamuna gave them some way. The gopis had a lot of confusion in their minds. They went to the other side and offered the food to Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni ate so much that everything they brought was finished. Then the gopis came back to the Yamuna river having fed Durvasa Muni. There was so much water in the Yamuna river that they wondered again about what they should do, because last time they had asked Shri Krishna and had been shown a way. Now they went back to Durvasa Muni and asked him to show a way, because there was so much water in the Yamuna that they wanted to reach the other side. Durvasa Muni said, go to the Yamuna and tell her that if Durvasa Muni is doing a proper fast, then show us the way. The gopis said this, and the Yamuna river gave them away. The gopis were in a lot of confusion and did not understand anything. They got the way because Shri Krishna was called the brahmachari, celibate even after the Ras Leela, and because Durvasa Muni was described as doing a proper fast even though he has eaten so much. They wanted to find out the meaning, and so they asked. They got the answer. What one is doing with the senses is not important. What is important is whether the mind is being involved in what the senses are doing. If the mind is getting stuck in, is the mind getting stuck in what the senses are doing? Durvasa Muni ate so much for his body, but he did not have an attraction for it, and he did not tell them that he loved the food, nor did he ask them to bring the same food back. If this attraction arose, then he would have eaten. The attraction did not arise. This is the quality of daksha. The devotee enjoys worldly pleasures, and yet he remains the non-enjoyer. He does not get ruined by enjoying worldly pleasures. He consumes worldly pleasures do not consume him. Bhogana bhukta vayomeva bhukta. Eat to live, don't live to eat. This is for the material world, but for a devotee, the devotee consumes worldly pleasures, but the worldly pleasures do not consume him. A watch is necessary in order to see the time, what time of the day it is, and when one has to go somewhere. It is fine that it's tied around one's wrist, but these worldly pleasures do not consume him. He does not have the attitude that I must have this. I must have this in this way, otherwise it will not work, and does not make efforts like this. If he does, then he is finished because he has become a material person. He uses these things but does not overconsume them. This is the quality of daksha. He knows where to draw the line. This is daksha. In the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavad, God has given a very nice description. The verse says, Esha buddhi matam buddhi manisha cha manishanam yasyat satyam mrute neha matyena lotimam mrutam. The intelligence of the clever, the wisdom, sense of discretion, resolve and perfection of the wise comes from only one thing, through attaining the indestructible and the truth with a capital T. Through this destructible and false body. This is the biggest daksha and the greatest cleverness of all of the devotee. If I take a very everyday example, then let us say a boy brings spinach from the market And the mother asks that, son, where did you bring this from? The son says that I bought it from the market. The mother asks, how did you bring it? Because I did not give you any money for it. The son says, no, mother, it is such that 3 days ago I found a fake £5 note and it would not come into any other use. So it stayed in my pocket and I took advantage of the fact that it was dark, gave this fake £5 note to the market and came back with the spinach. The mother will say, wow, my son is so clever. He made use of a fake note. This is the everyday world. This is the language of the material world, that by giving the fake note, he brought back true spinach. In the spiritual field, through this false body that's destructible, one attains the truth and the indestructible supreme soul. In the everyday life example, the person took advantage of the darkness, and the spiritual example here, he took advantage of life. He grabbed hold of life. We may have heard of the bhajans, the holy songs of Ganga, Sati and Panbhai. Ganga Sati says to Panbhai that Vijli na chamkare motira parava Panbhai, achanak antara avshe. The lightning will come back bringing pearls, Panbhai, and suddenly the darkness will go away. This is called daksha. The darkness is there, but one strike of lightning comes and it will bring pearls. These are the pearls of the soul. One who is constantly ready for these is daksha. Shri Krishna says that a devotee should be udasin. If you split the word udasin, then it becomes ud, above, and asin, seated. Therefore, udasin means one who is seated above. Shankaracharya says that udasin means a person who is balanced and who has a balanced perspective. Na kashyatit mitra dehe paksham bhajitena sa udasina yatihi. He tells what is the truth. This is not attitude that this is my friend or I like him and therefore I'll stay on his side. Shri Krishna then says that a devotee should be gata vyataha. A devotee should be one from who all worries and agonies have gone away. Shankaracharya says that this means gata bhaya, fearless. He has no agonies. Srimad Vallabhacharya has written it very nicely in his commentary about agata vyataha, that gata vyata means to tolerate the attacks and objections of false people without agony. You're living in society, and if you do anything, then wrong people will spread wrong things about you. They will attack you and will object to you. Now, if a devotee gets disturbed by all of this and gets agonized by them, then it will not work. Mahaprabhuji says it very nicely that gata vrata means to tolerate the attacks and objections of false people without agony. The devotee sees that people are going to attack him and object him. If society did not leave Shri Krishna alone, then how do we grow on different farms? Attacks and objections happen. The devotee should have the quality of gata vyataraha. The reason why the devotee is gata vyataraha is because the devotee has shraddha, faith in the Supreme Soul. Mantu shinde chinta kare, Hari me karvu ve te kare. Mind, what are you worrying about? Hari, God, does what he wants to do. A devotee has given up worries. Shri Krishna then says that a devotee is one who has given up all initiatives in action. Shri Krishna says that a devotee gives up aram. The word aram, which means must be given up, means to undertake. The word aram, which must be given up, means to undertake and to begin. Arambe iti arambaha. Aram, that which must be given up, means not just to begin, but to begin new activities for the reasons of material enjoyments or for gathering people. Iha mutra phala bhoga trani kama hetuni karmani sarva arambaha tan prakrityum shilam asya iti sarva aramba pradityagi. That's the meaning. A devotee is one who endlessly and constantly performs actions, but not for material enjoyments and not for gathering people. This is one who has given up all aram, initiatives and action. Therefore, the devotee acts without the pride of being the actor and without the feeling that I am doing. He makes full and complete efforts. He thinks that if the activity succeeds, then it's fine, and if it does not succeed, then it does not matter. He is not attached to the result, and that is why he has given up all aram, initiatives and action. If you held on to one side of a rope, then the rope remains held on to. A kite can be flying on the other, with the other string can be in our hands. In the same way, the kite of our karma remains flying in the air, and we keep holding on to the string of the fruits of karma and do not let go of the fruits. When one lets go of the string of the fruits, then the kite of karmas automatically releases. It is not as if you have to keep holding on to the kite that is flying in the air. No, if the string is in your hand, it releases, then the kite automatically goes away. In the same way, when the string of karma actions that we're holding in our hands releases, then aram, initiatives in action, also release. That is why Shri Krishna says that one should give up all aram, initiatives and actions. Shri Krishna says that a devotee with all these qualities is very dear to him, and that he likes such a devotee very much. End of verse.